Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we got our '04 Chevy Avalanche here. We're going to be doing a brake job on it today, so stick around and see how we do that. Like and subscribe for more content. And so that's it right there. That's how we're going to push that pad back, or push those pistons back. We're just going to stick the clamp on there, use that pad to push them both at the same time, and we'll go until it stops. Okay guys, so I just want to give you a little update here, show you what we got going on. These mounting brackets were very rusty, so we did take a little bit of a file to them. I'm going to hit them with some WD-40 as well, kind of get them lubricated and get them all cleaned up before we go ahead and actually mount these stainless shims back on here. All this rust and corrosion creates high spots, which then causes these to bind up as they're riding, which if you notice inside here, I did hit them with a file just to kind of take the casting high spots down a little bit, right? These things are cast and something, you know, just kind of cheap, and so they have high spots and flashing on them. If you take those down with a file, right, just a nice little file like this here, right, you can get them to ride very free and nice. You want to make sure all of this stuff rides freely and nicely. You don't want any binding. You got filming right now? Okay. Alright guys, so we're just going to line this all up on here. We got our bracket halfway installed, and we're just going to kind of slide these pads on, get them mounted onto these pins, get them mounted onto the stainless steel shims here. You can see this little squealing device here. It's kind of causing us a little bit of binding issues, so we'll just kind of finagle around that. Once we get past that, it should be pretty easy. There we go. Always be careful of this hose here. You don't want to put any undue stress on that hose there, right? That's your brakes. Beautiful. Okay, so see, we got this all slid on here now. Everything's all good here. I'm just going to prop these up right here, and we're going to go ahead and throw our rotor on. Before we throw our rotor on, I'm just going to kind of clean this all up with a little bit of WD-40 and a wire brush.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I went ahead and cleaned our disc rotor off with brake cleaner. Once I cleaned it off, I put a little bit of grease just on this inside ring. Do not put any on the outside. Just a little bit on here to prevent it from seizing up on here. That way we can get it off in the future. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and slide that on there. We're going to take our caliper here. That's all ready and assembled, and we'll just slide this back on here now, like so. We'll go ahead and put our bolts back in. And so once I got this top one started and aligned, I'll go ahead and get this bottom one in here. And beautiful. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and torque these two down now. We're going to torque them down to 80 pounds, and we'll check back in a second here. Alright guys, we're back here. We got all our brakes mounted on here. We're going to just go over it and make sure that we checked it all good, right? So when we put your brakes back on, you want to make sure that the caliper rides freely in the mounting bracket here, and that the pads ride freely. So as you can see, we got a nice back and forth movement. Everything moves very nicely. I'm confident that this is not going to bind up anytime soon on us. Alright, now that we've done this check and everything here is all very clean, we're going to go ahead and mount our tire, and this side is done. Alright guys, we're here looking at the back brakes now. You can see the rotor's a lot bigger, and same idea here. We're going to just get after these two bolts here for the mounting bracket, and we're going to get this all freed up. You can see on these ones here, there's definitely some rubbing going on here. She's pretty wore down. So we'll get this all taken care of, and we'll check back in a few minutes. Okay guys, so as you can see, we got our bracket here off to the side. We went ahead and cleaned it all up like we did on the front, took away all the corrosion. There was lots of brake dust buildup, so this one was very dirty. Took definitely a few minutes to get it clean and get these steel shims on here nice, and then get these pads to the point where they're riding nice and freely in there. Alright, so if we take a look here, you'll see I had to file all the way around. All the way around that on both sides. Just until most of the black was gone. And that gave us a nice smooth surface to ride on. So now we're going to go ahead and reinstall those. So over here, we cleaned all this up. We've got some lube sprayed on here. These pins weren't too bad. We just kind of cleaned them up a little bit. We got our new clip mounted in here. Okay, we cleaned up that whole area for that clip to sit in there nicely. And we retracted our pistons all the way. Do not forget to retract your pistons. The hub back here is all very nice and clean, so we don't have to do too much there. Okay guys, all the new parts are on. We got our rotor here and our pads all mounted. We're just going to make sure everything all slides nice here, right? So we can see there's some nice movement. Everything's looking good there. So when I put these back on, make sure that you get this rubber seal actually connected back on here properly. You don't want anything to get in here over time, right? So as we see, it's kind of hard to retract it now that it's mounted, but those are actually hooked on. All right, so everything's good there. We'll come up here, we'll check our fluid level. Our fluid level's pretty good, but we're going to top it up a little bit more just to be safe, because we got all new brakes on, so there's no reason for this thing not to be close to the top, not to be near the max. So once we do that, we'll drop everything down, pump the brakes a few times with the car started, and then we'll go for a quick little spin and make sure everything's good. Like and subscribe for more content, guys, and have a good day.